Hello, fabulous course launchers. How the heck are ya? I am going live. I'm just going to double check that I'm actually live. Nothing worse than talking to yourself. All right, so we are good to go. Hello, happy Friday. I am so happy to be on. I am actually finally in my office today, which is a rare occurrence this summer. So there we are here. So today I just wanted to come on and do a short training for you on one of the top reasons that people actually don't ever create their online courses or package their expertise, right? So often you may be doing one-on-one work or working with clients to solve their particular challenges, but it's a little bit different when you try and package it into something that that people can consume without you either being there or into a framework that's a little bit different than just kind of showing up and doing one-on-one, right? But the number one reason that people don't actually get started, a lot of times people think, well, it's the tech or it's this or it's that, and usually the challenge is, what would I talk about, right? What would I actually package? Like, you do so many different things, or every time you work with a client's a little bit different. And so one of the things I want to just talk about today as I am live here is just to give you a little insight into a couple of different things that you can think about that will help sort of take away the challenge with, like, how do I do this? Do I show up on video? Do I show up with a PowerPoint deck? Do I, get on Zoom? Like, how do I go about doing all of this, and how do I package what my thing is? And one of the things we talk about when you're really figuring out what you're going to teach is to, define what your success path is for your people, right? So you look at who it is you're serving and how to get them results, and then the steps that they take to get there. We talked a lot about that. It's definitely a core foundational element to building your online program, or even just packaging what you're doing, so you get a sense for how to figure that out. But the next step in that is, well, how do I actually teach it? How do I make it interesting? How do I make an experience that helps people actually achieve the results you want them to achieve? Because let's be honest, we've all seen a lot of different online courses that are pretty crappy, right? It's either somebody getting on video and just talking about information or things that aren't valuable. And so here's the thing. I'm going to give you 2 tips today that are going to really help you as you're forming your direction in terms of how do you teach each of the different parts that you have. So the very first thing, I actually have 3. I'm gonna add one. It'll be like an extra for you. But the first thing is, what is that one thing that's going to help somebody actually achieve what you're trying to teach, right? So you want to put them in action. So can you give them an activity that they can go and do to apply what you're teaching, so it helps them get farther on their path, right? So that's the first thing, is everything that you're doing should be really focused on what is that one thing that they need to do to successfully move forward. That's foundationally the first thing. However, the way that you show up and help them do that could be using a couple of different things. One is, can you create an activity or an exercise that allows them to actually apply that right away? The second thing is, can you give them a case study or an example from one of your clients or from your situation? If you are kind of modeling what you've done and how you've achieved success, can you give them a case study? Can you walk them through an example of what this will look like, how they can make it happen in their own world? And I'm going to tell you, if you don't have a case study of somebody you've worked with, make it up based on your ideal avatar. What is your avatar's journey through to get to the result? Like, how can you illustrate that and make up kind of your perfect avatar until you have case studies that you can use as examples? So make it around a case study. Make it around something that they are able to really conceptualize, right? Because they can see it happening with somebody else. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is let's see, results, path, case study. Then can you add stories? Can you add specific stories? Case study is a little bit of a story, but can you add illustrations? Can you add stories? Can you add little pieces that help them really see how things work, how they can experience it, and put them in the shoes of the person who's doing it, right? So if I'm trying to achieve something and I'm going through step by step, how do you get me in flow in that step so I'm actually experiencing it? So when you think about creating your videos or creating your course that you're creating, it's really looking at how do you make it come to life. In some cases, we create scenarios, right, where the learner is actually going through it and making certain decisions. And based on the decisions they make, they're getting feedback, or they're getting different, they sort of go down one path or another, right, based on the actual decisions they're making. So you're putting them in sort of a simulated environment, which helps them not only see how it works in their world, but puts them in an active place of learning. So really think about that. Can you do a case study? Can you put them in a simulated experience? A couple of days ago, I was at a friend's house, and I put on the VR goggles. If you haven't done that yet, you need to do it. It's very fun. But you're literally immersed in this environment, and you feel like you're there, right? So we had to walk a plank, and we walked a plank, and you went out on this. Literally, it was a plank. It was a wood piece on top of a city, and you literally felt like you were on top of the city. And so the ask was, well, jump off of the plank, right? And then fly through the city. And you feel like, oh my gosh, if I do this, I am going to totally fall to my death, right? And so you don't want to do it. And but that's what I'm talking about, is how do you put somebody in a simulated environment, a simulated situation, where they can actually see how by taking the steps, this is what will happen, right? So if you're teaching somebody how to sell something, put them in a situation where, based on what actions they take, what decisions they make, certain things are going to happen. And based on that, then people can learn. People see how it all applies as they're going forward. So those are just a couple of quick tips for how you can take your content and really make it into something that's interesting and engaging and really helps your learners actually be able to take action and get results in what you're doing. So that is such a big struggle that a lot of people have, is, well, what am I going to do? Just like jump on video and start talking, and that just seems boring. And it is, right? Especially if you're not making actionable, you're not making it into something that helps that person actually achieve that result. So whether you're asking them to do that in their own world, or you're creating sort of that virtual simulated environment for them to practice, either way will help them move forward so they're able to actually become successful. All right, that was my tip for today. Easy peasy, but wanted to give you a little bit of a sense for that. So I'd love your comments below. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you implement this and you want to share it, because you certainly can share it on the page. All right. There you go, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And hey, if you are one of my students and you're geeking out in Learn Academy this week, enjoy. Would love to hear your thoughts and how everything's going as you go step by step through your simulated experience. All right, there you go. Have fun.